Hi, Sambaza.
Hey, what's up?
No, like I was ready for 8 o'clock, and then kind of 8 o'clock sneaked up.
I was in the same thing too.
Hi, April is coming to an end.
Yeah, can you imagine? It was just the other day we were just talking about us just
Burnout. I feel like I haven't taken enough time for
can you
burnout.
imagine?
Shout out to Podmatch who just sent me their T-shirt. I literally just received the Podmatch T-shirt yesterday.
Oh, nice. That's
And
awesome.
I'm wearing their pin. I got their pin at Podfest, and their T-shirt came yesterday. And this is what happens when you shoot your shot. Podmatch had their podcasting made simple event last week, and I
Uh-huh.
went in there and I was like, I am so high on this energy. I need my Podmatch T-shirt to match the energy. And they sent me an inbox, a message. Do you want a Podmatch T-shirt? I was like, fuck yes. They're like,
Yeah.
give us your address, and here I have it.
That's
So shout out to Alex and Alicia San Filippo. Actually, Alicia. So shout out to Alicia.
oh, okay. That's awesome. That's awesome.
And
Man.
shout out to all the people on the live right now. We got Bez, we got Soda. Soda says yes, so
Hey.
excited. By the way, Sambaza, when Soda found out I was going live with you, she was like, "What time? I have to be there because Sambaza is always on my live." So Soda is here for you, not
Thank
for me.
thank Oh, okay. Man, pretty cool. But you're doing okay, right?
I am okay, and I
I
am
know most of the
excited.
people are like wondering who this is because I know I did a show yesterday and somebody said, "Oh, you came into my clubhouse and they were expecting me to have my picture and I never had a picture." So they're like, "I don't remember you." Then I was like, "No, you had to see the logo to know who I was." So like, okay. So most people haven't seen who I am. So this is me.
And this is why sometimes it's nice to show up on all these other platforms because every platform has something different, and then you
Right.
go there and then you go and you realize, oh, like I've been spending so much time on Owl right now, and I'm making money, and I'm like, why haven't I like, I know I can make money, but why haven't I been doing this as much? Because I just have to go live and then accept calls when they come in and talk to people, but you talk to different people. Like, I have this person who, he's literally 31 but is a private chef in New York, and he's been a private he was a in-house private chef for 2 years for Robert De Niro, and now, and he has private chef for all these basketballers and stuff, and now he started his own company and shit. Is actually
Mm,
gonna be on my podcast, but it's like I wouldn't. And now we follow each other on Instagram, but I wouldn't have met him just on Instagram or by him answering. But because we were on that call, and you see all these people, and I get credit to make calls because now I have like $30 I have to spend by the 9th, otherwise they just disappear. So I'm just calling all these people to just find out about them. But and I spoke to one person, and she was like, do you know half of these people, I've had when I speak to them, they're like, oh, I know you, your voice, I heard it from Clubhouse. So it's like the same people, but now you get an
mm.
instant communication, one-on-one conversation with them. But they're like, and it's amazing how much people know about you, or have heard about you because of all these other places you place yourself. But now they're like, oh yeah, you're that person who used to say this. Oh, because now they see your face. Oh yeah, I've been hearing about you, but now I'm putting the face to this. So it's just amazing how this world works.
Yeah. Yeah, and you don't realize how you get connected, especially when you started off from Clubhouse and now moving over to other mediums of communication and other stuff. There is that fine line of having some type of communication when you go back and forth. But hey, shout outs to the people who invented whatever.
For real, Soda says not supposed to know I'm a fan. Soda, over here we give people their flowers. We're all fans of each other, so why not?
Right, right, right. So, how was your hibernation? Was it good?
I still, this is the thing, people. I am not social media back right now. It seems like I am, but it's just that
You're with
um
me.
by the time I was promoting,
You're with me. That's why you came back.
actually even before you, because I started promoting the podcasting made simple. The event happened. Then there was the AI tools and creators summit for 4 days. So of course I was gonna post and promote people's talks and stuff. So this past week I have been like legit
You.
on social media,
Mhm.
but I'm learning to navigate, like to just post whenever I fucking want to post than the pressure of posting. Like if I need to, I will post. If I don't need to, I don't need to. When to not, like I'm just
Your intention.
freedom, enjoy, yeah, enjoying the freedom of social media. Like I will respond when I fucking want to respond. I will show up when I fucking want to show up. I will, and it is what it is. You gotta deal with it, and I'm okay with it.
Yeah, that's true. We have to create that equilibrium at some point because people don't realize, and that ties into what we're going to talk about today: the misconceptions about podcast. People think that
Yes.
I just get into a podcasting, I'll grab a mic, and everything works out fine. Oh, I see Kissy Prince joined in, and I don't know how to say this.
There's Miss Officer in here.
Yeah,
Then
officer.
we
Hey,
have
guys.
Chachi Carter.
Right.
Okay, Chachi Carter. We
I-
have GM Prods. Shout out to everybody hanging out with us. So, for
yeah,
those who don't know, this is the usual last Saturday of the month Sambaza
it,
and Talk Shit with P session. What were we gonna call it? We were gonna call it pot talk, pot talk.
pod talk.
I don't.
It was
Yes,
supposed to be pod talk. Yeah, pod
yeah,
talk.
this
Yeah.
is our pod talk, and last week was our. Why am I saying
Last
last
week
week?
or last
Last
month.
last month was our first one, which we talked about burnout because a bitch was burnout and taking social media break. So this month, Sambaza picked up the topic, and that's how we're gonna be doing. Like it doesn't have to be me always. Like we're gonna go back and forth. So this month, Sambaza picked up the topic, and the topic is common misconceptions we have about podcasting. So if you're a podcaster, or if you are those people tired of hearing people are podcasters, or if you're those people who are supporters of podcasters, or if you're that person who wants to be a podcaster, but because of all these misconceptions, you're not sure, please let us know in the chat the misconceptions of podcasting that you've been hearing. And me and Samas are going to talk about some of them, but we want you all to chime in. So engage with us, share yours, and let's dive into them. So, Sambaza,
Right.
because you brought up this topic, take us on
I mean,
this journey.
we can just start off by the fact that you said you don't burn out. People don't realize that you do get to burn out at times. Let's start with that. Oh my, this guy Jemon Duarte, he's following me, but he follows me because I run. So now he's coming to check me out here on podcasting. However, anyway, back to the topic at hand. Um, Most people don't realize that we do get burnout.
Hold on.
There's a lot of stuff
Hold
that.
up. I'm gonna be Kanye West on you for a second, Um, I feel like yes, burnout is, but because the last month we really dived into burnout, so I feel like burnout should be in the middle of it. Like we'll talk about it, but in
Oh,
the middle, because last month was an entire session dedicated to burnout. So let's dive into a different misconception.
okay. Soda says podcasting is only for creepy people. Yeah, yeah, we are creepy people because guess what? We always follow. Like you follow people in order to be able to get a story from them. Some people also. Let's start with that. Yeah, creepy is when you
So
start
here's
off.
the thing. For me, I've never had podcasting as creepy. I've had it for gamers. Like if you hear somebody is a gamer, you're like, oh, you're creepy. You're in your basement playing. So I've never had about creepy. I felt like because whenever I tell people I'm a podcaster, or when I hear other people, it's like, oh, I can see that because you like talking, or you talk too much, or you're outgoing. So I've always had podcasting is for outgoing or people talk too much or anything, but never creepy. So that's interesting. But yes, oversaturated, and we're gonna talk about that because that's a point we have. But since you brought up creepy, tell us in what ways that you've had like it's creepy. I want to know more about that as a misconception.
Well, for me, when I say it's creepy, when well, when Soda says it's creepy, I think yeah, because you actually do follow people. You know, you go onto their Instagrams, you follow them, you do research on them, and then you kind of ask them, hey, can you do a show with me? And also, like Soda says, is saturated. It's oversaturated. No, it's not oversaturated. Yeah, that's a misconception people know, because even in the beginning, Paul, I think when we started off podcasting, we always said everybody has a story to tell, right?
Mm.
And if you have a story to tell, go ahead and say it. However, that's another thing. You're going to say the story. How are you going to produce the story? How are you going to curate the story? You know, everybody has their way that they're going to curate the story according to how they want it to come out there. Like, take for example, the other day I was having a talk with somebody who's talking about basketballers, and we know that they have Kenyan basketballers who came here and made it, made it so big here in the U.S. that it opened up doors for people to know about basketball. So guess what? Somebody said, "Hey, I, somebody has already done that podcast before," and I told him, "Hey, when you look at ESPN, for example, I'll take an example of them. They can take a story of somebody who did not make the winning shot at a game, yet the other team won. But they're going to focus on this particular guy and find out what happened to his life up to the point when he made that shot, what transpired, and make him turn to be a hero. Yet the other team was the hero of that particular game. So it depends on what angle you're looking at. So wow, Soda is saying you have to be a celebrity to be successful as a podcaster. Is that? Oh, that's a misconception too.
You're jumping because they're mentioning each one, but first let's get into yours before we get into the comments, because
All right,
otherwise we're gonna be all over
all right, all
and
right,
not getting into the
all right.
uh
Cool.
and that's so true about the oversaturated. Even Spotify once mentioned it in an article. Like, that's far from it. And this is people who host, who promote all this podcasting, right?
Right.
And you're right. We all have a story and we tell it different. It's like also telling people who make movies, like, don't make movies. We've already had that story. I mean, there some storylines where when you even see a preview, you're like, I already feel like I've seen this movie, but it's told in a different version, in a different way,
Right.
or adding extra. So it's like telling, oh, don't be a movie producer. There's so many movie producers. Or don't create movies. We have so many movies. Or don't
Mhm.
create series. We have so many series. Like, we have the series called oh my God, it's about four girl best friends. One is on Amazon. There's one called Harlem of four black girls, and then they have the same one, four black girls as well, but different version, and they just chipped in like a half caste, and then a light skin, and then a dark skin, but and then there's another one of Indian as well, an Indian version. The storylines are literally the same, but their personal lives are different. So it's like you feel like you've already watched it, but the shortcomings of it are different. So when you say oversaturated, yes, people feel that way because when they go search for a podcast of certain things, they get so many options,
Right.
which can be overwhelming. So to them, they feel like that, but then also at the same time, when you're looking for a specific podcast and you also don't find it, like you might find a topic on it, but a full-on podcast, so you're like, it's both and it's not. Like, depending on the niche, depending on what you're looking for, at certain times it might seem like oversaturated, just like blogs, right? Just
Right.
like hospitals, just like restaurants. It's like telling people don't open another restaurant, there are too many, or don't add another chicken meal, because when you go to a restaurant and you look at menus, and when you're hungry, you're like, you feel like you want everything, you can't decide, right? So
Right.
is that, and then when they tell you, oh, next week we're adding more items in the menu. So it's like telling them, no, please don't add more items. We already have them. So in that
Mm.
sense, yes, that's a big misconception. So let's go here. We did creepy misconception. What's up, guys? I'm following the conversation too. Thank you for joining in.
Hey,
Soda said she'll send us
Jemo.
memes later. Abuela says you have to have high energy and loud, and I'm the opposite. And that's one of the things I say. Most people assume podcasters are always the ones with high energy or loud or anything, but no,
No, we
and not.
have you. You have high energy. I have low energy, Paula. You know, and you remember when we meet at Afros and Audio the first time, I was like cool, calm, collected. Paula, you were like, hey man, let's do this. So it actually depends. Again, it's a misconception,
It
you know.
really is. There are different types, and imagine somebody who's doing a meditation podcast to be high energy while you're supposed to monitor. So that's the
That's good.
and I've met podcasters who share who's like kind of like an audiobook, but not an audiobook, but a podcast on love stories. Her listeners send her a story, and she kind of narrates the story in
Right.
that. Now imagine if I energy, because that one, especially romantic love, it has to be soft spoken and love. So yes, that is one of the. And then so that you have to be a celebrity to be successful as a podcaster. That there's some truth in that, but also it's a fucked up misconception. But it's just that celebrities get more successful, faster, successful process because they're already celebrities. They already know people. They have the budget. They have the
Paula,
money. They get
let me,
offers.
can I throw this one? You have to be your own celebrity to be successful. Give me a clap on that, man. Hey, that works fine, right?
I mean, talk shit with P's our own celebrity. I get t-shirts
Exactly.
sent to me.
Because I think if you don't, you as a podcaster don't feel like a celebrity. And I'm not saying that celebrity to be like in a outward manner. You feel it in your heart that you're a celebrity. That will give you energy to be able to go out there and create content, right? And then you let the other part, other people probably give you that celebrity status, but you have to feel it in your heart that, hey, I can do this, and when I can do this, this is what my outcome will be. um and sooner or later, yeah, people will know who you are. Like Paula, you right now, if you move into this podcasting spaces, a lot of people know who you are and know, that's Paula of Talk Issued P.
But that's the thing. Being known is also a different thing. They might know me, but what do they actually know me for? That's a whole other thing. But also, I think the misconception is also what successful is in podcast because everybody has their
Ah,
own definition of being
yes.
successful, and this is not just in podcasting. In an entire life, somebody's success to them is, I just want to be a stay-at-home mom with a happy baby and a husband. That's success to them. Some people's success is climbing the ladder in the corporate world until they're CEO or bringing their own company. That's a success. Somebody's just getting married and being a stay-at-home wife, like no kids. That's a success. So everybody has different ways of success. Some people, their success is getting 10K downloads, right? In the first year. That's your success. Some people is getting sponsorship. Some people is actually podcast to bring clients to them, right?
Mhm.
Some people is to getting more speaking gigs. Some people
Right.
is to get to the TEDx. So everybody's success, whether in podcasting or in life, is different. So that's why when I say, when people ask, has it been successful? Or are you successful? But in what ways do you mean? Because in the opportunities I've got, yes, podcasting has been successful. In the speaking gigs that I want, podcasting has been successful. In making me become a better, confident person, yes. So what is it really successful to you, or you're asking for in that form? So it's successful itself is also a misconception.
Right. Right. Right.
So they said, ignore me for now. Hippie, you need to have a large following before you start our podcast. I've seen people with low as followings, do incredible shit, have incredible deals, and get more money. And I've seen people with bigger followings, and all they have is the bigger following.
Right, because again, it's also intent. What's your intent? You might have the bigger following, and then you say, okay, I have a whole bunch of people following me. That doesn't equate to something. But nowadays, I think there's that idea of where when you have a few followers that you can chat with, like Paul, there's nothing as good as you having a connection with the guy who you listen to their podcast every other day, right? So I'm taking an example. If I watch a particular show and I comment, right, and the producer of the show or whoever was working on that show comes and talks to me and say, "Hey, I'm glad you like the show," I'd feel special because he has taken his time as I took mine to listen to their podcast or say thank you for the comment. And you know, if I get a comment from somebody and I say, "Hey, I want maybe I want to see you ask this particular question," and then you go to the next show and ask that particular question, then I'd get a connection to that person. I say, you know what? They have connected to me by the fact that they listened to what I said and acknowledge that I am a listener. So that is what some people would do. And you could have just 10 followers, but your 10 followers will be the ones who will be your staunch followers. And I think with those 10, you're probably going to get 10 times the followers, because word of mouth spreads very quickly and it's firm, because somebody will go and say, you know what, when I go listen to that dude, he always comes back, and whatever I ask, he engages with me. And I think that's what you want, rather than be a huge following and you just put a comment there and nobody comes back and says anything at all. You'll be like, okay, what am I doing here?
That's what I say. I tell this to people, and even on threads, I saw it, and I was like, all these people who are asking each other to follow each other, like, oh, follow me, I'll follow you back, and I'll even follow you on Instagram. Okay, after we follow each other, what are we accomplishing? Are we collaborating? Are we supporting? Are we helping each other? Or are we following each other just to add numbers? Like, I have an extra number, but we don't talk, we don't share, we don't support, we're not like, what's the point of this follow? And that's why these days I follow with intention or follow back with intention. Because at the end of the day for me, and I'm always constantly, whenever I have time, I'm
Mm.
following and taking myself out or removing people because there's so many bots. And
You
to
do?
me, because I rather have a real number than have bots on there adding number. No.
I never
So
check.
it,
I got bots.
it does add
Bots.
up, but to me, because sometimes, and I block them real quick, because to me, I want engagement. And I've seen people where you go on their profile and you see 11K, 12K, 15K, 20K followers, but then when you look at their post, 5 likes, zero comment, or one, I'm like, so are these real people, or are these the followers you buy, or what? Because I rather have 500 and I know 500 are legit and are commenting and engaging with me than just having 10,000 just for the sake of it. So yes, that is really uh, a misconception that people have. And fuck followers. Then Soda says, I feel a celebrity when Paula posts about me. Cause bitch, you are a celebrity. Soda is a celebrity,
Oh
y'all.
yeah, sort
If you
of.
have ever been around her TikToks or even Thread these days, she's taking over. If you go on her TikToks, so there's a whole. Shout out to everybody who's here watching us. Oh my God, there's Brad, Miss Nabi, Richmo, Irene, and Soda. So for all, let me refresh this for all those who are joining us. This is our usual last Saturday of the month session, Sambaza and Paula, and we talked different things. We started last month where we talked about burnout, and that was my topic because I was taking time off from social media and because I was burnt the fuck out. And this week, Sambaza chose the topic of common misconceptions we have about podcasting. Some of these things are the reason why some people are fearful of starting a podcast because of all these misconceptions that we are sharing. So if you're a podcaster, if you want to be a podcaster, if you've ever thought you're a listener, whatever, and you have some shit, share them down. We are listening to them. And again, shout out to Podmatch. You just sent me their t-shirt and I'm wearing their pin. But I have a misconception that I wanted to talk about.
All right, here we go.
Why are you
Uh,
laughing,
when you say I have one, okay, go ahead. Let me see. All right, there you go. Uh-huh.
If anybody guesses what the fuck I'm drinking, you might get a talk show with him merchandise. I'm just saying.
Can I
Oh my God, Alex is in here.
can I can I get
No, you can't. But you'll also get it wrong if you try. Abuela
you think
said you need expensive equipment to start podcast, and that was my second thing I was gonna mention. But yes, what?
no, you need
Go ahead, somebody
y-
guess. I'm gonna let you guess because we're not gonna finish this if
dragon
you
fruit.
don't guess. No,
Dragon fruit. Oh, okay, then that's it. That's the only one I know. I know
that's
that.
a, that's why I said you're not gonna be able to guess it. If
Oh,
anybody watched the show I did with Sid of Empowered Podcasting Room that morning, whatever me and Sid were drinking is what I'm drinking today. So
we missed it.
yes, so sorry.
We're gonna have to revert back on that one and come back and see it. So what was about the thing about
Alex got it. Alex was there. Alex got it.
cranberry?
Alex gets
It
a
does look
talk
like
show with P merchandise.
okay. See, you'd have to be at the show. You think it's not a misconception. Well, it's not a misconception. Well,
Expensive
no, it is.
equipment.
You get addicted to equipment.
You can no, I mean equipment is important, expensive not, because at the location also, as long as you have a good mic, and good mics don't need to be expensive, and you're in a good section, because the audio, you can have expensive equipment and the audio can still be
Right.
fucked up because you're in a, so no, good equipment, you can invest that as time goes, because trust me, we all want good equipment, but it's not something you need to start a fucking podcast.
I think there's always room for improvement. And when you look back at where you started from to where you are currently, you would probably say, yes, I have improved. And you have a base to start off with. Like, Paula, your first podcast, it's not the same as the podcast you do now. You're more confident in what you say. Hey,
But but that doesn't have anything to do with my equipment. My equipment is still the same. Mind you, I had a fire a year ago, so I lost most of my equipment. I don't even have like a literally mic. This one I won. The package was sent to me when I was on Chris from our group when he did a summit last year,
right.
end of last year. I got it during December, but I don't have like I use my headphones which are fucked up, so I don't have expensive equipment.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that consistency and just making sure that you are giving out good content and aware of your surroundings while you're recording, and just being mindful, because I still edit by myself and my editing can probably still fucked up. I don't know because I don't listen to my own podcast. But I try with what I know. I just learn how to use what I
Mm-hmm.
have. So expensive equipment not necessary. You just gotta be mindful and listen to things like I listen to when Sean gives advices. I listen to when everybody is talking about equipment and how to utilize what you have. I pay attention and just maximize on that. So you don't need expensive equipment. But 1 minute. Soda said she was gonna guess the same thing as you, the dragonfly. Alex says, yeah, baby, with champagne. Cheers, yes. Roger says, where's my drink? Oh my God, Roger was my DJ. Oh, we were together in Malaysia. Was my DJ, and yes,
Oh,
this is the man.
go way
Oh
back.
no, sorry, this is different one. This is the Dr. J. Sorry, I read Roger. Probably that. And yes, this is the man on the street. Exactly. Good content is what matters. Okay, shout out to Dr. J, the man on the street. For
He's right.
most of you all know that every Friday night from 8 p.m. to probably 10, sometimes 10:30, I've been a guest host on this show called Two Blunts and Two Cigars and a Blunt, Two Cigars and a Blunt. So yeah, that's it. Why are you laughing, Sambaza? Yeah.
Man, I came up, I saw you live, man. Y'all were going at it. And I was like,
I love this boy. Like
no, they're cool. They're cool. I loved it.
I
Great.
love them. I love them. They teach me a lot. They put me on my toes. They call me out on my shit, but they also spread some love. I love it. I've been enjoying being I guess this in there,
Oh, nice.
and and the fact that I'm the only girl in there with
That's what I.
five other niggas. Excuse my language, but with five other guys. It's impressive, but amazing people. But yes, he also says, and yes, exactly, good content is what matters. Because even if you have expensive equipment, if your content is shitty, like it doesn't really matter. It doesn't.
It will. Yeah, it will not sell. It
But
will
let
not
me.
sell.
I was excited about sharing before Abuela got us in there, but that was my second one, so I'm glad we got it out of the way. So my exception, because first of all, shout out to y'all watching us because y'all have been literally amazing because everything that was on my topics, like followers, downloads, listeners, like y'all mentioned everything. So shout out to y'all. But I would say monetizing. Like there's this concept.
That one.
As soon as you start a podcast, are you rich? How much are you making? And people assume that it's all about monetizing, and that's why a lot of people get burned out. A lot of people end up with pod fade. A lot of people don't quit before it has even started. But this conception of monetizing, what you got to say on that? And shout out to Amanda. Yo,
Hey,
Booby in the building. I love how our empowered podcasting people are just here hanging out. But yes.
for me, when I started off, I made it a point where I said I'm not gonna rush for monetizing. Why? Because I think if you're chasing after the money, there's at some point when you don't make your target, you're gonna feel like you got let down. Now, this is me personally, right? Other people will probably want to go it differently, but I'm talking about myself. So I've made it a point to make sure first I establish myself, get what I really wanted in the spaces, right? And now I have become like ambassadors, like I've gotten ambassadorship, and also I think for Afros and Audio, I'm an ambassador for Afros and Audio right now. Been selected to be one. So hey, that's another thing. So slowly being speakers at conferences. So that's slowly building up your resume as you go along. Monetizing, yeah, it'll come, but if it does, it does. But if not,
But
I great content. I meet a lot of, you know what? I meet a whole bunch of people that I really, really would probably never have talked to, or who invite me to their space. So actually give me their time, and we sit and talk about things that probably I may not have gotten a chance to talk about. You know what I'm saying?
and,
So
and, and that's and
mhm.
that's so true. And you touched on, yeah, I don't know if you all feel it, but my lips look very good in this. I don't know if it's the lighting or shit where I
Oh yeah,
am,
you got
but
good lighting.
I
We,
know, right? Like I'm feeling myself on this lighting today. I'm sorry. I just saw myself for a second over there. Hey baby. Anyways, and also
mhm.
when it comes to monetizing, right? People are always just talking about subscriptions or ad or sponsorship, but there are different ways of monetizing. Me and Soda, we have been doing barter trade. Yes, it's not money, but it's still another form of monetizing because
Mhm.
even if I would have gotten paid for advertising a shit, I would have spent that money on something else. So we are exchanging services, which we probably couldn't have done if we weren't in the same space. So that's another form of monetizing because she's giving me something that I would have had to go pay for. And I'm giving her something that she would have also had to go pay for. Or even if she would have gotten a sponsor or like nobody likes to have as many ads. Yes, sometimes we do it because yes, it goes with our brand and we need the money or the money is good. But if you can avoid ads, most podcasters try to avoid ads unless you're really big and it's big money. Like I'm not gonna say no to some big kaching kaching. I'm sorry, I'm a sell out on an ad for big kaching kaching. But there are other forms. Also, getting to be in rooms that you probably wouldn't be, or your name mentioned in rooms that that's also a different form of monetize because you're getting your name out there, which you probably wouldn't, or even a sponsor or an ad, because at the end of the day, a sponsor or an ad is you putting their shit out there. This is another way of putting yourself and your brand out there. So there are different forms of monetizing, even just like you being an ambassador for afros. I know what I got from being an ambassador at Podfest. That brought more shine on me because now I'm an ambassador. I'm saying this company is trusting me to be an ambassador. Yes, it wasn't money involved, but it was the opportunities. Opportunities is also a form of monetizing because you wouldn't get those opportunities if you weren't in those spaces. Those opportunities will bring more money than ads or sponsorship or anything. So we need to change this mindset or this conception of what monetizing really is
Right.
and take it as what it is. And also me, just like you, when I started podcasting, I didn't even look at my downloads. I didn't care. And people were asking me, I was like, I'm not doing it for my money. And until today, every sponsor I've had support talk show with me, it hasn't been money wise. I had a sponsor with Superpass. Those were my first sponsors. But they created they gave me they used to be one of the best web. I think they're still out there. I'm not sure. I haven't seen them around lately.
Mhm.
And they were I knew them because of Podfest, and they sponsored me with a website, and the websites were focused for podcasters. And the reason I ended up that a partnership was because I wanted to add in blogging and stuff and implement video, and you could only have one video on their page. So it was kind of limited to certain things because it was really just for podcasters. And at that time, podcasters and video was not a thing, right? It was just so yeah, but they were amazing people, a woman-owned company run by women, and I went on a Zoom call with them, and I was just like, I don't have money, but I like your company. Can you sponsor me? And they're like, okay.
Yeah. That's,
And then my next one was Write For You with my girl Eliquity. She's an editor. She has a company to write books. She was like, Paula, you've always wanted, and I booked a call with her. I found out her prices, and she was like, you've always wanted to write a book. Um, let me sponsor you. So she's helping me with my book. I'm running an ad in there.
nice.
The amount I would have had to pay for her services was the same amount when I made my media kit that when a company reached out to me, and Simona helped me with that, and I sent it, and they didn't agree on the price, and I said no. Something in me told me to say no. Either one, because I really didn't believe in the company,
Hmm.
or also I wasn't about to, like, I really wanted the money, but I wasn't about to switch up. And the same amount I gave them was the same amount that Lynn was charging people for her services. So it was like sometimes that no is because there's something better for you. And I needed a book. I've been talking about writing my book for 3 years. I had my book is probably, hopefully to God, by June it's going to be out. But we've been working on it from end of last year. So all these are also forms of monetizing, because I would have had to pay her or anything, but instead, okay, I got this. So look at barter trade or networking or all
Right.
these other opportunities that come is. So that was one of my biggest misconceptions that I hate,
Hmm.
hate, hate,
Hmm.
hate, hate.
Hmm. Yeah. I mean, you're right. Opportunities, opportunities, and opportunities. Monetizing, yeah, that's one of the big things. And what else is
I
there
want
about a
to
mis?
share this thing because we talked about content, right?
Mhm.
I want to share this little piece of quote. Content is king, but the distribution is queen, and she wears the pants. So just like how we were also talking about content, right? And and the reason I'm sharing that is because oh my God, where's my um people keep on talking that misconception, more episodes, more listeners, more downloads, and consistency, and all that is great. But marketing is the big thing. People don't realize that
That's a lot.
is important, and that's why most celebs get their shit out there, because they have budgets for marketing. Some of us, you have, okay, if I do a $5 ad on Facebook, that shit ain't gonna do nothing. People
Yeah.
have 2,000K budget on Facebook ads, and you're coming with a $5. And that's why it says content is king, and content is king, but distribution is queen, and she wears the pants. Because you can make amazing content, how you distribute it is what matters.
Now that's where, now you remember, you talk about the community, the followers that you have. That, see, now that also gets to interfere with, now when you say I don't have to have so many followers, I could have a lot of followers. Well, if you throw your information about those followers, how many followers will be able to pick it up? Vis-a-vis these 10 followers who will be able to pick it up. But how are you going to market it?
But it's not about your followers to market, because whether you have followers or not, again, if you have so many followers and half of them are bots, what does it matter? Right? It's already a loss, and that's why I delete bots, to make sure that it actually reaches the people it needs to reach. Because if the bots are chasing, and we already know the algorithm, that's why it all comes in marketing. You have to market, you have to pay for Facebook ads, for Instagram. That way it reaches not just your followers, but people it actually needs to reach. And sometimes half your followers are your family and friends who don't even give a fuck, but they're just there to add the fucking numbers. So,
Yeah,
and
like,
that's why you need the loyal listeners who are gonna share it, because half of the time, even us as ourselves as community, and that's why some people leave other communities, because we talk about community and supporting, but people will see your shit and not share it. And that's fine. Nobody has to share anything, but that's why you have to be careful. The people you have, are they really here for you, or are they just here to add numbers? Because your loyal listeners will share it on their stories, they'll share it to their friends. You will have a budget where you will go and run ads either in Pod News or Podfest Messenger. Podfest Messenger runs ads. People get seen in there. I've gotten new listeners because Podfest. Somebody read about my show on Podfest Messenger or hashtags, But then literally had somebody find me because of hashtags. So it's also the hashtags you use. And
right.
also, so having a marketing budget is good, because your content might be amazing, but if it's not in front of the right people, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the followers, because your followers you might have followers and they're not the right people either.
So, Paula, marketing is key too. Now, when you say marketing budget, that is going to be now strenuous. So now you're making the average podcaster wonder, hey, how am I going to be spending on marketing? What am I going to be doing
But here's
marketing?
the thing.
Who am
You don't have to be spending, but it has to be part of your budget. And just because people are spending 2K doesn't mean you have to spend 2K. First, you have to find out where your people are. Where do you want to advertise? You don't have to take corners of everywhere, because you don't have the budget like everybody. So if you know you're good at Facebook and you're doing put it on
Okay.
Facebook ads, and start little. Like every week, if you have $100, do $5 every week, because it's gonna circulate. Today, this week it will see these people, next week these people. But you can always put aside, because again, in this game, you still, whether you are starting or not, you're still gonna have to put out money in a podcasting to create, to initiate.
Right.
So you have to figure out and budget and be like, okay, this month. And that's how I did. I was like, you know what, this month I'm gonna invest in a new intro and outro. It's 150. That's it. Okay, this year we're investing on the big thing. It's my logo. I paid $350 for my new logo because of specifics that I wanted. And I was like, that's the budget for this year. We're not doing big shit, because to me that was the big shit in podcasting. So you have to come up with a plan, because how are you expecting people to invest in you if you yourself are not investing in yourself?
It ain't gonna work.
Yeah, you gotta
And then,
put out the money before you start seeing the money come in. So even when if you know your people or your listeners are not on Instagram, don't waste time promoting like promote on Instagram, but don't pay for ads on Instagram, because you know your people are not there. If you're a business partner and you already know, like in the on Wednesdays, that's why I come to I used to love Empowered Morning Wednesday rooms, because I don't go searching out news, podcasting news. But when I come there, I listen to the news.
yes.
So you hear, if you're a business person, you hear, oh, a lot of people in business, in podcasting, they either check out the pod news or they
Mm-hmm.
check out this newsletter. So of course you're gonna, if you're a business podcaster, you're gonna spend money and promote it on there. Why waste it on Facebook or anywhere, right? So
Right.
you gotta know your, even though I hate it, but your niche. That's another misconception about niche that I really hate.
There's a question though here. Hippie is saying, Abuela, uh, do you believe in having a website,
And
or is it a necessity, and why?
I, at the moment, don't have a website, and it's because of so many different reasons. Because the website I want personally requires a lot of money, and I don't have the funds for it. But I do have my domain. I did have a website, and I think call it a necessity, but if you want to be taken serious, a website is important. Especially we have seen where social media blacks out, right? Where Instagram doesn't work, and Facebook goes down, and goes down because Facebook, Instagram, Thread are all one. So when they shut down, they shut down. So when people don't have access to you on there, that's where your website is, and that's why I'm very particular of the website I want to build, because I want to make sure that I'm not relying on social media. Social
Mm-hmm.
media is just
Mm-hmm.
part of, and
Right.
the website is the home. So if you can create a website and make it, please do, because it is important. And who knows where the social media is going?
Right.
I mean,
Right.
TikTok is getting banned, so we don't know what is next and what's gonna happen. So have your own space, which is yours. And if not a website, even a newsletter. I used to laugh at people who would say, "Oh, you need a newsletter," and I'm like, "Well, I'm just a podcaster. What would I need a newsletter for?" And now I'm like, and I started doing them weekly, but I realized I don't have enough to share for weekly because I'm a seasonal podcaster. So I do them once a month. It's not stressful, it's not draining, but it's still a way to keep in touch. And I know even if tomorrow I decide to wake up, because I've switched, I went from weekly, I went from first month to and last month, and then I went to first month, and then I can switch up. I know I can reach my audience, my people, and so collect those email lists, create an email list, have a newsletter, have a website. What about you? Before we read a comment, what about you?
I believe the same thing. You're gonna have to have a website at some point. Now, I don't have one. Still remember,
I know you
still.
don't, because when I was creating your Afro's profile, I was like, I searched for it, I couldn't find a website.
But Linktree gives me sort of, kind of, sort of like a website, and I use that as kind of like my landing
And that's
page.
what I'm saying. But then again, people only get to you to LinkedIn, like, because it's part on your social media, right?
Right.
So when social media is down, nobody can click to remember what your link tree is.
Yeah, that's
Which
true.
I also use flow page. Like when you go, I have a flow page which has all my shit, because you can tap. This is my flow page. People
Oh
tap
yeah.
over there, and it's connected to my flow page. But I this works when we are in person or anything. But then if I tell people, "Oh, go click the link on my bio," and social media is not working, there's no bio for them to click on.
Right. Right.
But when you have a website, they're like, talk shit with it. But even though I would advise everybody to get the domains, because those things, like I even made an alarm on mine to make sure that I remember when it renews. Because Talkshare with P, the last time I renewed it, and this was this year in May, my website, my handle was being sold for 2,000. So if I lose it, or if somebody decides to hack it, I have to pay probably more than that, because they'll know I want it. So just secure the handle while you figure out what website to
Right.
have. I don't have a budget for one, so we'll use Canva to create my own. Nothing fancy for now. And yes, and that's the thing about website. You can start however you want and keep on building it as you go. You don't have to make it fancy. Just like how equipments we are talking. You don't have to start with expensive
Right.
equipment. You start where you are and keep building as you go on. Shout out to D2R. That's another East African brother over there.
Yeah. So, Paula, with that, what we have today, and we've talked about all this info regarding the misconception of podcasting in general. What do you think? What do you think the most that has impacted you in
First
terms
of
of the
all,
misconception?
I have one more I want to talk about.
Oh,
Influential guests. You know, people always say you need to get big names on your show for your show to grow. Those are the people who don't even share your episode when it comes out. They're just happy they can. They
but
come for your people. They don't care about their people coming to you. I'm just saying.
so uh, I'm of the mantra. I I I will try and add somebody, but there's this idea of if I bring up a guest, these the celebrity type of guests or high profile guests, sometimes it takes off of you as a podcaster having a connection or having a story to tell, because at that point maybe you'll be in awe of whoever you have on your podcast that it will
But
turn into like a sloppy whatever you call it.
but isn't
You
that but isn't that the point of bringing a guest, whether celebrity or not, is for them to shine, right?
I'll make you shine,
Yes.
but then the questions that I ask have to be in line with the fact that hey,
Eh,
we're having a conversation like you and I were having a conversation, not where we have a conversation where all I'm doing is hail you, hail king, stuff like that. You get what I'm saying?
Oh,
It
then
has
you shouldn't
where
have the, if you feel like you're gonna turn them into a god, don't have them. But it's also and it's okay to have influential. Like there's certain people who I would want to have on my podcast, but it's those people who just bring just famous people or influential people on their podcast, whether they can get them or not, or they have access to them, but it doesn't align and it makes no sense. And then even the and we know most of the famous people, they're very few, very rarely who will share your shit. Most of them, even the normal guests, to get a normal guest to actually share an episode that they were in is a struggle. So there's that part.
but
So
if they have a PR person, they can do that.
exactly, and sometimes they're told what to share and what not to, because at the end of the day they don't make the rules. But all I'm saying is this misconception of, oh, you will grow faster because you bring a influential guest or a famous person. That's lie. And unless that person is aligned with your purpose or your brand or your show, even if they don't share it, it might get some buzz, because of who. But if it's just somebody who it doesn't even align, I don't care who it is. I'm just gonna be like, okay, I've seen so many interviews of them. Like, what makes it different, right? But
Hmm.
if they're coming there for specific, because I know, or Paula's episode show is about mental health and creative journey. So I have this idea that they're gonna talk about his creative journey
Right,
and mental health. But then I go
right.
in there and all I'm hearing is, oh, thank you for being this coolest person, and he's just sharing shit, and he ain't gonna win. So stay aligned to your purpose and your brand. Whatever guest you bring, it doesn't have to be influential or famous, even though those ones don't have. But make sure they align with you.
Oh, I got
Otherwise, you're gonna kill your
to
brand.
Okello Javan. He's creating. He's creator of the Madaraka Festival. Actually, I am promoting it. And I'd like people to go ahead and get the tickets. They're going to be in Dallas, May 25th. And once they come in, it's a whole range of cities they're going to do for Madaraka Festival. Paula, you know about that Madaraka
I'm
Festival.
a
So,
good influencer. Tell him to fly me. I will entertain and bring people
all right,
on.
he'll hit me. He'll hit me. Go on.
I'm a good influencer to have. I will promote your shit on my stories and everywhere. Fly me in, and I'm a life of the party. My energy is on the 100. But no,
There you go.
that's amazing. And if
There'll
you
be
ever want to be a guest on Talk Show with me, please, I would love to have you and talk about, because I'm all about events. I don't know if you know, but my background is in events.
oh, okay.
I do festivals and stuff. So I always love talking about that. And my when I ended the season of Shit Happens, I had Letitia. We were talking about events and mental health and how that the draining, the process, like it's fun. I love that, but it's also draining. But like I just enjoy it. So if you ever want to come on my show, it would be an honor to have you and talk about all those amazing things. And I'm also serious. I'm an influencer. If you want to have me, I'm a cheap influencer. You just pay for my flight and my hotel, and I'll be there. And make sure I have Budweiser on lock.
He's I, I think they'll be in Atlanta, so he probably will be able to get in touch with
Wait,
you.
he lives in Atlanta?
No, no, no. They'll be coming to Atlanta, so you
They're
can
doing
promote.
one in Atlanta as
I
well?
think they'll be in Atlanta. Atlanta is one of the.
Then let's talk. Yeah,
I'll
I'm
check.
planning to be outside this summer. I wanna be
Hey,
outside.
we're all outside. All right, Paula. What type of misconception has really impacted you, and you were like, you know what? Yeah, this particular one really hit on me. Like when you went into podcasting and you heard about a misconception, and you were like, what? Really? This one?
Actually, none, because I don't fucking pay attention to what people say. Here's the thing about me, right? I'm this person that when I decide to do something, whether there's misconception or not, because I always do it my way, regardless of what. And I've always been that child that my dad. I would even if I like something and I see a lot of people have it or trying to get it because of I don't want it because I want something that's unique. I want something that's not wanted. I have love for those things that are neglected because they're not labels or anything. And that's why I love Ross, Dress for Less or whatever, because people feel like, oh, you need to be a label, right? You need to be on Louis Vuitton or Gucci or anything, but I rather you give me the money and let me show you what I can do with at Ross and Forever 21 and Target. Like, baby. I will dress my entire village in Africa with that Louis Vuitton belt. I'm a
So,
thrift shopper, so I like. So when people keep on saying these things, from a young age,
mhm.
and I think because also being a government kid, you learn from a young age to ignore people's noises. Like people are always gonna say shit, and most of the time, even when I was growing up, because I was a tomboy, I was told, "Oh, you can't play basketball. You're short. Or you can't do this. You're a girl. Or you can't do this." And baby, have you seen me play basketball? Like last year on 2 years ago on 420 event, we did an event at a court where they had a basketball court, and I was shooting those hoops and playing on my high heels from a distance until later I took out the high heels. But all these misconceptions, all because you're short, you can't do this. I wanted to be my first dream job when I was a child. When they ask you what do you want to be, oh, I was like, I want to be a flight attendant, and I wanted to be a model. Oh, you can't be because you're short and you're small. Oh, you can't be a flight attendant. You have to learn 5 languages. So all those I've been hearing those, and those are the things that made me like, fuck them. Whenever they say I can't do it, that's when I'm gonna prove it, unless I really don't want it. So I stopped wanting to be a flight attendant because I hated learning languages, but it wasn't the necessity of doing languages. But I realized at some point I hated flying. Like, I love traveling. I just hate the flying part, if that makes sense. So I was like,
Ah,
how
no,
can I be a flight attendant if I hate the flight? I hate being on air.
not work.
Exactly. But I still did basketball. I still did swimming. Like I still, cause oh, black girls can swim. I still went swimming, and I'm a fucking good swimmer. I still did that. So I don't pay attention to that. But and whenever I hear that, I turn them as a motivation. and also it inspires me to go another route. And that's why I love talking to Dominic and other people, because they also don't pay attention to the misconception, and they've chosen a different route. Because even the awards route, like, you all are here fighting for sponsorship and ads, I'm gonna go collect these awards. So I surround myself with people who don't mind dreaming bigger and are not afraid of dreaming bigger, and they don't care what you're gonna come, because we're gonna find our own way.
There you go. That part. That part.
What about you? What's yours?
Mine was where you had to be consistent. Like every time you had to bring out a show every week. I I was of that. It was a misconception. Somebody said, you can always take a break. Now I masked that part of taking a break where I have enough shows, and all I do is churn out the shows, and they come out ready. And for what people think, like, okay, there's a show coming out every weekend or every week, or sometimes I do miss some shows, but I prefer, like, I give you quality, right? So if I'm going to give you quality, I'd rather give you the quality work that's well produced, and production is well arranged, so that when you listen to it, it's a great experience. So sometimes I may not post every week, and once you get the information out there, or you get to listen to the conversations that I have, you'll be like, yeah, you know what, that's a pretty good conversation that was had at that particular time, rather than just churn out things that just keep coming out, keep coming out, and keep coming out. No, it's got to be quality content. Remember, content, right?
And I have something to say with that. I get that on the consistency, like on the posting and shit, but on the producing, I feel like consistency is still important. Because if your listeners, like, I was so heartbroken this week when on Thursday nights, when I know Grey's Anatomy 911 and come out, and they didn't come out. But also, I don't pay attention to the news. Maybe they announced there won't be an episode this week, because there are certain times, depending on the weekend of that week, they don't put out episodes. So I also don't pay attention to that. But when it comes, if I'm already used to Wednesday, unless you announced it last week on the episode, because consistency matters, but also putting your listeners aware. Because if they have to guess which Wednesday the episode comes out, they'll get tired of that. Like, okay, today there's an episode, tomorrow there's not. Then again episode, then not. That is slappy. But you have to be aware, like, okay, I'm producing, and that's where it comes to. That's why I love pre-recording, bash, batching, and all that. That way, you already have them. You don't have to promote them. The consistency in promotion doesn't matter, but as long as they're coming out, because they're those loyal cast. And me, whenever my episode goes out on Wednesday, is at 5 a.m. And because I set it, shout out to Buzzsprout, you schedule it, it's there. When I wake up and go check it at 8 9, I find it already at least 7 to 10 downloads. So that means that those people were already used to that. 5 a.m. this episode is coming out. So I make sure that if I don't have an app, and that's why I record, to make sure that however tired I am, I might not post on the same time, same day, same whatever on social media, but the
Mm-hmm.
episode will be out until the end. And then I will announce I'm going on break. But if I don't have an episode, I'll make sure to put a memo on that episode and be like, guys, this week there'll not be an episode. It's a one time, something came up, blah blah blah. Please don't accept. But if you're just doing it because of fuck consistency, you gotta take a break. Yes, you gotta take a break, but you also gotta let your people know.
Yes, I do let them know in the social
Okay.
media. If you follow me on social media, I'll
No,
go out
but
and say it.
some of your listeners are not on social media. Not everybody's on social media. So it's when you put out that episode. If you know that week you're not gonna put out an episode, just tell them, hey, next week there won't be an episode. That's it. Just
No,
like you
they
remember when
hit me up. Let
tri-
them hit me up, ask me what's going on.
trigger
Then I know
warning.
you.
They're not gonna hit you out, but you might lose. Like, they might disappear. But again,
No,
some
I've
people
had
disappear, some come back. They'll come back. You get new ones.
I've had situation where I didn't post and somebody came and asked me, "Hey, I didn't see you haven't posted this week. Is there a show coming out? And I was like, wow, okay. So that motivated me to know that, look, somebody is there. Oh, Jen has joined in.
Shout
Shout
out
out
to
to
Jen,
Jen. Walk by
Miss
Park
Walk,
podcast.
yeah.
Wednesday, 8 Central Standard Time. We always have a live show on, and we have interesting topics. Paula, you're also on the line to be coming on to it in a brief second. We'll be letting you know. Yeah, yeah.
It's
We'll
the
get
Mental Health
you
Awareness Month next week, so
right,
you know,
right. So we
I'm
got
ready.
a few things planned, and yeah, by the
I
way,
was so
that has been
happy. Huh?
experience. That has been one of the best experiences I've had so
There's
far.
something about going live, right? There's something about going live and then
That
doing it with also some collaborating it with a member of your
right,
community who just
right.
and just watch it, because I think the first time I was able to catch your live was last Wednesday,
That's
because
what.
you always send them very late and I keep forgetting this shit, but I'm gonna try to be aware. But you also need to start sending them to us a little bit early than late, because
All
as soon
right.
as you sent it and I saw it, I clicked. And to watch you and what I wish I was there to watch it earlier live. I watched the replay, but there's a difference about watching it live and being part of the conversation than watching a replay
Right,
and being
right.
like,
And that's a
shit, bam.
thing that we've incorporated, and it's
And
working
you
out
see,
best.
and that's the thing, misconceptions about podcasting, videos and all that. Look at this. You can make podcasting however fucking way you want, because it's
Right,
your baby. You do it, because especially when you're doing things by your own self, you have to do what works for you, not what works for the community, not what works for people. Because at the end of the day, baby, you're the one sitting up doing all this shit.
true, true.
But but
So
but
yeah,
speaking
it's
but speaking about people reaching out, and there's something about that. I like it. And this is why I also tell people, like, when I get people respond to my newsletter, I get excited. I responded to Lloyd's newsletter. It was happy because it feels like the people, because most of the time you feel like you're talking to ghosts, right? Because you don't hear them. But when they respond on something you say, you feel like, okay, I'm actually talking to somebody out there. I
right.
remember, shout out to Adam Shibley. This is my favorite podcasting business school ever. He has a podcast called Podcasting Business School, and I learned a lot of shit from him. He's part of the team that was behind my rebranding of my logo and everything.
Oh,
But
okay.
one time, and he will always share this story. He even came on my podcast and shared it alive. He used to have a particular time that I would get his newsletter. And I was so used, it became a routine that when I wake up at that time and I go to my inbox, Adam's newsletter is there and I'm reading it and I'm going. And then he was moving. And then this day I woke up and there was no newsletter. Yo, I wrote an email to him. I'm like, you killed my vibe. You know, where's my newsletter? And until today, she is like, yo, I've never been so ashamed. I never thought people care. I'm like, it's like that when you're used to having my good morning coffee and getting my newsletter outside and sitting and reading the newsletter while I drink my coffee. Or when you have your favorite show and you know 9 o'clock this show's gonna be here. I have my dinner ready, and then you go and then no new episode this week. Like, what the fuck you mean no new episode? I,
Like you say, it's right now. Finish
I
editing
need to finish
audio,
it.
work on it.
The editing part is crappy, but why do you guys edit them? Like me, I said because I'm about to put my shit up and live streams on audio. I ain't editing shit because it was live on there. I'm just putting intro and outro and sticking them on there. I don't get that full experience.
There's, there's something like an art to it that I think people want to do it,
And, and,
and
and that's
some
why I
people.
said everybody has a way of doing their shit, and that's okay because my way isn't your way isn't mine. And all our podcasts are different. Even sometimes they're the same, but they're different. And that's why I say there's never too many podcasts because we can all be sharing the same story. But imagine if I'm sharing a story and Dominic is sharing the same story.
It's gonna,
That's a two different.
yeah, it's all gonna be different upon how you say it. Yes, you're right. Okay. Now, Paula, we're gonna share. We've shared all this, and I think it's about time to say
I know we have actually gone 15 minutes over, so
bye. Right. But it was nice hanging out with you today. And what's the last thing that you want to say? Oh, guys, if you want to follow me, I'm at Sambaza Podcast anywhere on the social. Just search Sambaza Podcast, and you'll find me on the social media. We're on Spotify, and every Wednesday we go live with Jen. Oh, I know, Jen, you just got here, but yeah, we will talk about this. And every day we have a live show with Woke by Accident, Jen Dub. And hey, if you can join us there every Wednesday, we are there interactive just like this. And hey, it is fun. Podcasting is fun. That's all I'll say.
I
Paula, what about
I just want to say Jen's comment over there is a big eye opener on how Sambaza promotes this shit, because Sambaza is that last minute fucking. Because
Nah, yeah,
even us, you shared the YouTube link like 30 minutes before it was ending, and actually you guys were past time, and that's why some of us were able to make it there. But anyways, again, for those who don't know,
there's a
you see,
story.
Jen agrees with me. That's why she's laughing. For those who don't know, but I love Sambaza, yo. It's so easy to make fun of him, and he takes it like a G. You know, he doesn't cry about it. So I'm good at. For all those who don't know, this we do this every last Saturday of the month. So the next one will be, oh shit, will be on the 25th of May.
25th of May. Okay. Oh yeah.
25th of
Ooh.
May will be the next one, and this time I will be choosing the conversation, the topic. We will be promoting the topic 1 week before, and this is called Pod Talks. Last Saturday of the month, where Sambaza and I come and just talk shit in Sambaza way of podcasting. You see how I kind of put all our thing in there, like I did,
Right,
and,
right,
and
right.
Mark just joined. I don't know why people always join while we are ending.
Mark.
But shout out to everybody who was hanging out with us today. We loved it. And what I'm gonna say is, discoverability is all about marketing, and that's why content is king, but distribution is queen, and she wears the pants. Do what you're gonna do with go. Do what you will with that, in Dominic's words, because Dominic has this way. Do what you will with that. Do what, yeah, something like that. I told him to hashtag the shit and turn it into a slogan or whatever. And shout out to Podmatch, who sent me the t-shirt. I received it yesterday, and I'm wearing the tag with the t-shirt. So shout out to Podmatch, Alex and Alicia San Filippo. I love y'all. I love how much y'all love me and support me, and I appreciate y'all. But we shared today all these misconceptions. So if any of those were the reasons why you have not started a podcast, or you're not supporting a podcast, or you're not a podcast now, then get out of your head and go do the damn thing. You know, do what you can with what you can, and make the shit out of it. And you can reach me or follow me anywhere and everywhere at Talk Shit with P.
All right, Paul.
Coming soon to walk by what is it?
Walk by accident.
Walk by accident. Coming soon to walk by accident. By the way, this is the end of April. Remind May is Mental Health Awareness Month. Talk Shit with P is coming back full force because, of course, it's Mental Health Awareness Month.
Oh,
I'll be sharing a lot of shit I will be going live once a week. I don't know when yet. I'll be sharing a lot of shit, and I'll be bringing on the shit happens episodes to Talk Shit with me, but we'll be starting with the ones that were more on mental health than creativity because of May, and then get back into the groove in May. So they might not come back as how people were on the schedule is there on YouTube, which is also the fun of it. I get to play, mix and jingle, and just spread them out there. So,
All right.
Talk Show with P is heading to 200 episodes.
That is awesome. All right, Paula.
Thank you, Sambaza, for hanging out with me. For everybody who was on here, we appreciate you. Until next time.
Bye. Wasambazaji. Acquiring to interfere with now when you say I don't have to have so many followers. I could have a lot of followers. Well, if you throw your information about those followers, how many followers